Currently, I'm refining and adjusting the initial scene of my original opera, Paradise Lost: The Escape, which draws inspiration from the first 3 books of John Milton's Paradise Lost. This creative process has prompted me to deeply contemplate the role of music in enhancing and guiding dramatic narratives. It's also challenged some of my preconceived notions about the structure of musical drama. As I focus on crafting the opening scene, I'm particularly intrigued by the significance of opening numbers and their function within a musical performance. In classical music forms such as the symphony, the opening movement typically follows a sonata form, akin to a 3-act structure. It begins with a presentation of central themes, often 2 subjects, one major and one minor, or vice versa, which are then elaborated and transformed. The conclusion restates these themes in the piece's central key, often with the secondary theme now in a major key, if it was in a minor key to begin with. This not only resolves the music, but also symbolizes the evolution of the subject matter. Sonata form essentially embodies a progression from statement to debate or conflict, concluding with resolution. While this structure may not be as overt in dramatic music, its essence persists, mirroring the 3-act structure commonly found in operas or musicals: exposition, conflict or development, and resolution. A successful resolution hinges on a strong beginning. If the central exposition lacks clarity, the subsequent parts of the piece may falter. While instances exist where a weak opening number is compensated for by later brilliance, more often, a compelling opening can salvage an otherwise lackluster production. In upcoming videos, I plan to delve into what I consider the top 10 examples of opening numbers in musicals. But for now, I want to outline the 3 primary requirements for a successful opening number. Firstly, effective world building is essential. Each dramatic work has its own unique universe, and the audience must be immersed in this world from the outset. Notable examples of world building in opera include the opening scenes of Mozart's Don Giovanni and Wagner's Das Rheingold. These scenes thrust the audience into the action, establishing central themes and conflicts that set the stage for the rest of the opera. In Mozart's opera, we are immediately immersed into the unfolding drama as we encounter Leporello, the loyal servant, awaiting his master who seeks companionship every night to sustain his immortality. Leporello briefly vents his frustration about his master's tardiness before we witness the Don attempting to evade Donna Anna, his target for the evening. This leads to a trio with Leporello's captivating patter providing a lively backdrop. The tension escalates when Donna Anna's father intervenes, confronting the Don. Tragically, the Don kills the Commendatore, Donna Anna's father, igniting the central conflict of the opera. This pivotal scene not only establishes the opera's central themes, but also foreshadows the events that will ultimately lead to the Don's downfall. Themes of manipulation, hedonism, selfishness, and guilt pervade the narrative. Manipulation in the Don's treatment of Donna Anna, selfishness in Leporello's grievances about his mistreatment, hedonism in the Don's lustful pursuits, and guilt when Leporello confronts the consequences of the Don's action. The entire opera unfolds before us, laden with these compelling thematic elements, in this one scene. In Wagner's Das Rheingold, a similar exposition unfolds, albeit through a more intricate narrative. The opera delves into the theme of arrogance and self-absorption, portraying the tragic flaw inherent in divine beings who act without regard for consequences. The story begins with 3 Rhine maidens swimming in the primordial waters of creation, their ethereal presence captivating a dwarf who becomes overwhelmed by lust. Despite his advances, the maidens reject him, provoking his rage. It is then that the dwarf discovers the object of their protection, the shimmering Rheingold. In a fit of fury, he strikes a deal with fate, forsaking love in exchange for eternal possession of the gold. Thus the dwarf's curse is unleashed as he seizes the treasure, leaving the Rhine maidens to mourn the loss. This complex tale serves as a profound exploration of hubris and its devastating consequences within the realm of the divine. Secondly, an opening number should establish thematic elements, both musically and dramatically. In Don Giovanni, for instance, themes of selfishness and guilt are prominently introduced through musical motifs and character interactions. Similarly, Das Rheingold introduces crucial leitmotifs that will reverberate throughout the entire ring cycle, setting the tone for the operas to come. Lastly, an effective opening number introduces the central conflict or foil of the story. In Don Giovanni, the titular character's recklessness and arrogance are immediately apparent, while in Das Rheingold, the insatiable greed for power embodied by the Rheingold itself becomes a central driving force. In Don Giovanni, we witness the establishment of key themes such as selfishness, depicted through the agitated strings that open the piece, and the Don's guilt over the commendatore's murder, which resurface dramatically in the finale as Don Giovanni meets his infernal fate. The famous theme of Don Giovanni, which is also present in the overture. In Das Rheingold, Wagner introduces numerous leitmotifs that will resonate throughout the entire ring, most notably the curse motif, symbolizing Alberich's renunciation of love. Alberich is the dwarf. This theme emerges as a pivotal leitmotif that echoes across subsequent operas, reaching its resolution only in the climactic scene of the fourth opera of the ring cycle, Gotterdammerung, where Brunhilda's ultimate sacrifice brings an end to the curse of the Rheingold. Furthermore, the opera unveils the central foil of greed for power, which is embodied by the Rheingold and those who hold it. This foreshadows the tragic consequences that unfold in the ensuing operas. By elucidating these three main purposes of the opening number, I hope to shed light on what makes a compelling start to a musical. In future videos, we'll explore whether the best opening numbers in musical theater adhere to these principles. Stay tuned and subscribe.